Hi guys, and welcome back to another video game with the powers. I'm Jake, and in today's video I'll be giving you guys my review over the special edition of Castles of Burgundy, coming to you from Awaken Realms. Alright, this beauty, this gigantic beauty of a game here, of a box, this beast of a box here, Castles of Burgundy special edition coming to you from Awaken Realms. Awaken Realms have given it the nice flair that they are known for, with awesome miniatures, awesome production, awesome components, and basically just streamlining the game to make it more, I don't want to say accessible, but a smoother playthrough than some of that. But Castles of Burgundy is a classic, the classic Stefan Feld game, where essentially you are a Dutch or Duchess, and you are trying to build out your territory through different tiles and things like that. Rolling dice. You'll roll some dice, you'll draft some tiles, then you'll put those tiles in your board. You know, you get coins, you get workers to change the effects of the dice. Classic Euro style game here. So typically with all our reviews, I would normally go down to the table, show you guys how to play the game, or do like a quick overview. But for this beauty, I've actually done an in-depth look in how to play. I'll go ahead and link that somewhere up here if you guys are interested in that. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and jump right in, starting with the theme. So I'm going to go ahead and give this theme a 9 out of 10 here. I think this game is very thematic. I think, bringing in, obviously it's a classic game, right? That's hold the test of time. It's a classic Euro game. Awaken Realms really comes in and makes it pop and stand out. And so the theme is, again, guys, you are a Dutch or Duchess, and you are trying to expand your land. And there's many different ways you can do this, right? Like, you can go farm heavy, right, and build a lot of farms and have sheep and goats and score victory points that way. You have ships in order to gain goods, and then you can sell those goods. You have mines that'll generate you coins. You have monasteries, which will get you end-game victory points. So there's a lot of different ways, and so it's real thematic, and you are building out your territory that is available to you. And what makes it so cool is there's so many different boards, duchies is what they call them, duchy boards, that they have in the game, that everybody can have a different one, so you can find a board that wants to match your playstyle, and everything is color-coded. So like, for example, ships are blue, so if you might have a board that is blue heavy or something like that, and or like the blues are all in a row together and they're not spread out. So it just really depends on what playstyle and strategy you want to do. But I felt like, some Euros, they are just like victory point, like race to the victory points, right? Like the theme, it just gets lost in translation, and it's just, I'm just picking stuff up to try and get as most victory points. There is some little element to that here, but again, I do find, like, mechanically and with the theme, it does match up, and it's very well. So 9 out of 10 here for the theme for me. I think there is an excellent theme. Moving on to the components, guys. All right, as always, we're going to go ahead and drop down to the table. I'm going to show off these components. I'm going to give you my rating, and then we back up top here for the rest of the review. All right, guys, so we are down here at the table taking a look at these components, and look, I just got to give it right off the bat. I did the same thing for Lords of Ragnarok. I got to give this one a 10 out of 10 here for the components. And let's take a look at some of this stuff right here. The first thing you're looking at right here is the player board. I mean, you can just tell this thing is this is thick, this is sturdy, it's dual layered. They have a spot for your dice over here, your tiles over here, your duchy board here. And what's cool is they have these little hex guards in here that protect your duchy, right? So I believe I showed this on the how to play, but they would go in there and everything fits in so nice. So that is just phenomenal right there, okay? We got the player board right here. This is a double-sided player board with a 2-player side and a 4-player side. The colors, everything here, and even with the player board, just the colors and the presentation are awesome. All right, so that's the player board. This is the game board. Let's take a look at the additional tray here. So the version that you are looking at today, guys, I might as well say, is the Sundrop pledge, the Sundrop miniature pledge that was available to you. And so all of your castle miniatures, right, instead of the castle tile here, Okay, you have the option to get them in miniatures, and you have the option to get them sun dropped. So All of these castles here are just phenomenal, and they look gorgeous. All right. Some of the other things that came in here is the player victory point trap markers. The details on these are just phenomenal, and these are sun drop as well. So this is where you're going to store a lot of tiles, or at least I store a lot of my tiles. So like you'll have the ship tiles here, you'll have the farm tiles there. These are just generic cardboard punch out tiles. All right. You have some white castle tile, or not white castle tiles, but expansion tiles here. The workers are going to go here. These are just cardboard punch out. You have the coins here. These are metal coins. You can hear them. They got the nice Florentine symbol there. Just super cool, and just very nice add to the illustriousness of the game. And then we have this other tray right here where these turn order markers, these are going to be miniatures as well. These are the generic turn order pieces that came with standees if you want these. The dice are cool and upgraded and have that very Renaissance feel to them. And then these goods tiles are wooden pieces, all right, and those are amazing as well. So you can see here, oh, and the last thing I forgot, the bags like a smooth cloth, like a felt cloth, and each of them has this great design to hold some extra tiles. Like these are going to be your black depot tiles, all right, and then this bag for the building tiles. So we have a whole nother expansion here in the bottom of the box, the Vineyard expansion with dual layer player boards here as well. So I'm sure you guys can see that the just production, the quality here is just phenomenal and amazing, and I'm giving this a 10 out of 10, like I said, for production value, but also the storage system is what I've eventually done, and I'll talk more about this in the setup, is when I set up the game, I just kind of leave these trays with all the tiles out here. Now again, you can put the tiles in the bag. So these monastery tiles would technically go in the yellow bag here, and they have a green bag for the farm animal tiles. But instead of having to sort through all the tiles and put them back in the bags, I just really leave them in these options and have this little tray out for everybody. So the storage system here is very well thought out, very well done in organizing everything. All right, guys, well, look, those are all the awesome, amazing components. Again, I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. So let's go ahead and jump back up top for the rest of the review. Okay, moving right on to the setup here. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and give the setup a 7 out of 10. I think this is just a good setup for a big game like this, all right? What I've done to help with the setup, I mean, look, with a big game, it's going to be quite a hefty setup, right? I mean, there's like 3 different vac trays that have stuff that you're going to have to pull out. You're going to have to pull out all these individual pieces. You're going to have to pull out all the player boards and stuff like that. And that's going to take you a while. I'm going to say it's going to take you about 15 to 30-ish minutes, depending on if it's your first playthrough, or even if you got like 1 or 2 playthroughs in yet, or you haven't played the game in a while. It might take you a while to set the game up, and it depends on the player count as well. Some tips and tricks that I've done, like I said, the only 2 tiles that I actually have in the bags and use the bags are the black depot bags and the building bags. These 2 bags right here that I'm showing you guys. Other than that, like I showed you in the component tray, all these tiles and coins and stuff, I just leave this little tray out right here. And then I leave this little tray out right here just so we can get the components that we need when I'm playing with the base game. And then, of course, I'll have this tray out for the castle miniatures instead of the castle tiles. I found that helps so much more with the setup and the organization of the game, and just making it streamlined so you don't have to get the bags out, and then when you're ready to close it back up or pack the game back up, it makes it so much more easier. So setup for me is going to be a 7 out of 10. All right, let's move on to the length of the game here. So on the back of the box, it said 90 to 120 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and give this length an 8 out of 10. I do think the length here is a little bit less than that. You know, for about a 2-player game, it's going to run you about 60 to 75 minutes. A 3-player count's gonna run you around that 90 to 110 minutes, especially if it's your first playthrough. But here's what's really cool about this game. The mechanics and the flow of the game, especially with this, is so streamlined that what am I trying to say here? It's so streamlined that once you get the hang of the game and you've done a couple playthrough, turns just start moving very quick. And I mean, you can get a 3-player game done in around, I want to say 75 to 90 minutes, right? They've also added in some of these help sheets. I forgot to show this off in the component section, but they've added these help sheets for each individual player. And then I also forgot to mention that they added in on each individual tile. You can see, if you can guys see on the back of these individual tiles, what they do as well. And those are 2 changes that they did not have in the previous versions of the game. So all of that really helps with the length and moving the game along. So for me, this is going to be an 8 out of 10. All right, difficulty. Again, remember with difficulty, the higher the number, the harder we feel it is. The lower the number, the easier we feel the game is. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 6 out of 10. Look, while there is a lot of things that are streamlined about this game, there are some things that can get very confusing, okay? The first one being the first thing I would say is the help sheet, and just having to consistently refer to the help sheet to look at things. That's going to slow you down a lot. Now look, this help sheet is wonderful and great. I'm so glad that they put this in here, but you're going to have to constantly be referencing that help sheet a lot. And so you're going to get confused maybe with some of the stuff that it does. Some of these on the monasteries on the back, it just gives you a quick synopsis of what it does, but sometimes it can be interpreted as something different, all right? The next thing is, yes, while they did put lettering on the back of these tiles, all the tiles are going face up, so you don't really know what they do unless you look at the help sheet. So if you want to know what something specifically does, you flip it over on the back and look, and then you'd have to look at that. So some people might be constantly flipping tiles over just to see what it does if they don't get a good understanding of it from the help sheet, okay? Other than that, I do think the game is pretty simple, right? You only get 4 actions on your turn. That's either taking a hex tile, placing a hex tile, selling goods, or giving up a die in order to gain workers. You can also buy stuff from the depot. So I think once you get the hang of it, once you play the game a couple times, it's going to make sense and understand. At first, you might have some analysis paralysis just because of all the options, and you're looking at a board that looks like this and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. Like, where do I even start? And you have to start adjacent to, you start at the castle tile and then you have to go adjacent from there. But it can be very overwhelming at first. But once you get the hang of it, it runs very smooth, it's very easy to pick up, and it's enjoyable overall. But still, I think it is a little challenging to grasp at first, so 6 out of 10 for me. Alright, moving on, enough rambling. Moving on to replayability. I'm going to go ahead and give the replayability a 9 out of 10 here with this special edition. The reason why is this special edition comes with every single expansion for Castles of Burgundy, as well as the new Vineyard expansion for Castles of Burgundy as well. So like I said, there is a whole stack of, I'm going to get these duchy boards out. There is a whole stack of duchy boards, and this is about 3/4 of them right here. You can see how thick this is. Look at all these duchy boards. So these are all different combinations of duchy boards that you can have in your board to try out and mix up, right? You got all the different expansions that play in and out, so no single game is really going to feel the same at all. The mechanics are going to be the same, but your strategy and the way you go about doing things will change every single time. And then you're adding in that Vineyard expansion, and it opens up a whole new level of possibilities here. So there is so much content and replayability here with this game. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 9 out of 10. All right, moving on to the price. The last one we got here before my overall rating. So the price, man, woof. So I backed this on GameFound. Again, this is the gameplay all-in Sundrop version. I backed that for 105 euros. Comes out about, let's just say, 115 US dollars, okay? The cheapest I could find this game online right now is, I think it's like Miniature Market, or maybe even somewhere else. It was 180, okay? So we're gonna reference that 180 price, the cheapest I could find it online right now. Look, guys, at $180, and that 180 was not the Sundrop version. That was the miniature version, non-Sundropped. I'm gonna have to give that a 6 out of 10. I think that is a little bit overpriced, right? I think at my price point, we're at 115. I think that's good for a game with all the content that you're getting in the Sundrop. I think that's gonna hold its value really, really well. But I think at that $180 price point, that's just too much, and I don't see you getting a lot of value out of that at 180. I think more around that 120, 130-ish range. That's a good price point when it comes down. Anything lower than that, if you're a fan of Castles of Burgundy, I would definitely scoop it up. But at that price point, 6 out of 10, guys, I don't think it's worth it, right? I would wait to come down. All right, so that's my rating there for the price. Moving on to overall rating here. All right, my overall rating, I'm going to go ahead and give this a 9 out of 10, guys. Look, I think this is a classic. I have never owned or played any other Castles of Burgundy except for this one. But in playing this one, it gives me that really nice Euro feel. I love how streamlined they've made the game and how just easy it is to get into after you played it a couple times, right? Dice rolling is one of my favorite mechanics in a game. So rolling that dice, drafting those tiles, and then rolling the dice again and deciding where you want to put the tiles on your board with the dice rolls, all of that stuff playing off dice is phenomenal to me. The replayability of the game is nice. The components here are just beautiful and lovely, and it's just a great production and presentation. Not a whole lot I dislike about the game. It does take a while to get to the table. I mean, this is a beast of the box, so we don't get this to the table a lot, but when I do get this to the table, I do enjoy it. I think Awaken Realms has done an excellent job here. Excellent game. 9 out of 10 for me. All right, the last thing we've done on my review, guys, if I had the opportunity to back this game again, would I? Absolutely 1000% yes, and I would back the exact same pledge that I backed, which was the all-in Sundrop version for 105 euros. Now, they had other options to get acrylic hex tiles and like 3D versions of the tiles. I saw those and I was thinking about backing them, but I'm actually glad now because there isn't a whole lot of space for me to put all those acrylic tiles and all that stuff in one box. I don't like having a bunch of different boxes. So I think the normal tiles work just fine. They still add in a nice presentation to the game and it makes it look really well. So I would stick with that gameplay all in for 105 euros. Like I said, around 112 to 115 US dollars. I think at that price point, that's phenomenal value. So I would definitely back it again. All right, guys. Well, look, this is my review of Castles of Burgundy, the special edition, the Stefan Feld classic, coming to you from Awaken Realms and Alea. Here, Awaken Realms gives you a nice little spin on it. If you guys disagree with me or agree with me, please drop it down in the comments below. If you like this content, give us a like. And as always, if you are not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe so we can keep providing you more awesome content. All right, guys, y'all have a great one. Bye.